Tell us about this new. I've been listening to it on
Yep.
Spotify. It's loving it. I'm loving the vibe. Tell us about it.
Awesome. So basically, I was living in Melbourne quite happily with my wife and two children. Then the COVID thing happened. Went into, I think, the one of the longest lockdowns on the planet. Melbourne was particularly strict. Personally, I really loved the first one because I finally got to stop hustling and got off the rat race. For the first time in years, and just spent time with my children and went, fuck, man, I'm totally missing out on this shit, And it
Yeah.
was like, I was loving that first lockdown. Second lockdown was still okay. By the third time, it was bad. But but anyway, in amongst all that, I get a call from my brother in Wellington saying, "Mum's really sick. She'd been battling with Parkinson's for years. Mum's really sick, and it looks like she's going to pass away."
Mm.
And I just racked my brains to try to get back there, and there was just no way to get back there, man. Even the borders between the States and Australia were closed.
Right.
And
Wow.
so long story short, I basically ended up having to say goodbye on a phone. And I'm not the only person I've met that have similar stories like that. But I found that highly traumatic,
Mm.
highly surreal. When my dad passed away 12 years previously, I was right by his bed the whole way. My body saw it. I knew it had happened. But when you're talking to someone on a phone, it's not quite real, So, but that was my mum, and also because I was the youngest of three, I was the one that had to be She held on in a coma for like 12 days, waiting for me to come back, and no one could
Yeah.
explain to her that I wasn't going to come back. So I had
Mm.
to be the one to sort of say, "Hey, mum, you've done a great job. You can let go now. We're going to be fine." So that was the job I got out of the three kids. Which was tough to do on a phone.
Because today has had, well, you're a victim. That's the wrong word. You are someone who was impacted by the lockdowns. The first report on COVID is coming out today. How do you feel about you not being able to get back? Do you have any bitterness there yourself, or what are
No,
your
no,
thoughts?
because
You're a part of it.
that was part of the sacrifice I was willing to make to protect
Mm.
people like my mother. That was what I was doing it for people that couldn't protect themselves.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to me, like I I had people turning to me going, "Man, surely you're going to be Rage Against the Machine here, man." It's like, no, man. I believe in doing your best for the community that you're in. It's like, and most artists I know, I like that. Yeah, we see injustice in the way that we're governed, and we see how people with money have got more influence in our democracy than say I do. But that doesn't mean that when a thing that's happening to everyone, no matter how rich or poor or where you're from, is happening, you just got to do your part for the community. I mean, that's how I
Yeah.
looked at it, and that's how I still look at it. And shit, that hurt not being with my mum, but that's
Mm.
still a sacrifice I was prepared to make for my community.
Yeah.
And that's why, yeah, I just find I found the body sovereignty movement, and I just thought it was really selfish. That's
Mm.
pretty much it. I can understand it. It was a traumatic time, and everyone processes trauma differently, and that's how they decided to process it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the way I was deciding to process it. I was going to do my part for the community, and it never changed. I was sitting in Botany Town Square, eating St. Pierre's sushi with my kids, and a guy walked up to me and said, "Is it true that the government tortured you?" And I was like, "Is this guy fucking
What?
serious?" He was serious. And I said, "No, that is not what happened." And he was talking about the fact that I was on those billboards, the 2 shots for summer billboards.
Mm.
And then when I said no, he was like totally flabbergasted and just slowly walked away. And I was just kicking myself afterwards thinking, fuck, I should have said yes. Can you give me $500? Like but it was like Facebook had come into the real world,
Yeah.
and it was like there's a lot that really was a traumatic time for everybody, man.
Mm.
And but people chose different avenues and pathways to go through for dealing with it. And I think Facebook was really damaging to a lot of people's psyches and a lot of people's minds, and that isolation and that need of human connection, but in the wrong places, you know?